Hello and welcome to Top Stories and Viewer Television. My name is Joy Malik. Now, a delegation of Abuja-based pastors and bishops have on Sunday threw their weight behind the presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who they describe as having the right frame of mind to rule the country. The Christian Association of Nigeria, hours after the endorsement, however, kicked against the move, saying that Khan is standing on its earlier stance on no to same-faith ticket. The endorsement of the former Lagos State Governor by clerics under the aegis of the Nigerian Coalition of Pastors for Good Leadership took place after a town hall meeting with some party chieftains of Tinubu's support group City Boy Movement. Now, the presidential debate, security and the economy took center stage as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, the New Nigerian People's Party, Musa Kwankwaso, and Kola Abiola of People's Redemption Party squad up at the presidential town hall series on security and economy in Abuja. However, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his All Progressive Congress counterpart, Bola Tinubu, failed to show up at the debate. Although Atiku was represented by his running mate, Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, and Tinubu sent no representative, but the supporters of the LP, the NPP, and the PRP, who were unhappy with Atiku's absence, heckled Okowa, stating that the event was meant for presidential candidates only. Now, the National Executive Council of the Academic Staff Union of Universities in Abuja are set to meet in Abuja today. Now, the meeting will be held at the union's headquarters at the University of Abuja. Leaders of the union who spoke to newsmen says the lecturers would decide whether or not to resume strike following the payment of half salary by the government. The purpose of the emergency meeting is to discuss the payment of half salaries to the lecturers. Already, some branches across the country have held a Congress to decide on the next steps to take. The federal government is to meet foreign airlines operating in Nigeria over issues bordering on the trapped funds belonging to the international carriers, which has risen to over $567 million. Now, Dubai-based Emirates Airlines had on Thursday announced the suspension of its flight operations in Nigeria indefinitely due to the blocked funds. Operators have also stated that other international airlines could hold services too. Data obtained from the International Air Transport Association, the umbrella body for airlines globally, shows that as of September 2022, the highest amount of blocked funds, that is $567 million, belonging to foreign carriers was in Nigeria. Now, let's take you to Tanzania, where no fewer than 19 people have died when a passenger plane crashed into Lake Victoria in Tanzania on Sunday while trying to land at a nearby airport. This is confirmed by Precision Air in a statement issued, adding that the crash was as a result of bad weather. As at the time of filing this report, 24 survivors have been rescued. Meanwhile, according to a regional official, it is not immediately clear if the 19 victims include rescuers who drowned or whether the 48-seater aircraft had more people on board than previously disclosed. Now, 200 widows across all the local government areas in Oyo State have benefited from the empowerment program organized by the Office of the Wife of the Governor of the State, Makinde. Now, Makinde, during the program, commended traditional rulers, communities, and religious and non-governmental organizations for their efforts at making their life meaningful for the widows. She encouraged the widows not to be discouraged in the face of economic hardship confronting the nation and charged them to keep being at their best in all their endeavors, as this would make them fulfilled.
We're here to acknowledge and support the strongest of the women race, those who have had a share of pain that comes with losing its powers. We're all aware of the hardship in this economic situation in our country.
Now, Commissioner for Special Duties Sani called on the women folk to always support and encourage the widows in society.
Widows and those of us that are taking care of widows. Some of us are not even widows, but we are taking care of the widows and the less privileged women in our society, in Ibadan and in Oyo State in general. We want to say thank you, and we want to commit with all that you are doing in the hands of God. May He continue to assist you. May He continue to put blessings in your handiwork.
The widows who received food like gas cylinders, food items and cash from the governor's wife thanked her for the gesture. Now, the Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, says with Nigeria projected to be the third most populated nation in the world after India and China by 2050, the country deserves a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. Professor Gambari said this on Sunday in a press address to journalists and a release signed by State House Assistant Director of Information, Patient Gyadu. The report.
Addressing members of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative on a learning visit to the State House at the weekend, Gambari says Nigeria cannot be ignored in international affairs, considering its contributions to international peacekeeping and economic potential. The Chief of Staff also declared that President Buhari will be remembered for leaving a legacy of free and fair elections as well as massive investment in infrastructure across the country.
The legacies are not always just physical things. For example, when people talk about the legacies that President Muhammadu Buhari will leave behind when he leaves office, we mention, and they are very important, infrastructural legacy. The second Niger Bridge, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja-Kano Expressway, the network of roads, railways, ports. That's very important. Power, because without power, without infrastructure, the full potential of a nation's stature cannot be realized. But he will be long remembered for other legacies. His commitment to the youth of this country. He has just signed the bill to establish the Nigerian Startup Act.
The Chief of Staff added that President Buhari has led by example on probity and accountability in governance, stressing that the nation will also remember him for that. Welcoming the fellows in training to the State House, the Permanent Secretary, Tijan Umar, engaged them in the history, role and priorities of State House, while Dakbo Oyewole, Director, LMI, who represented the Speaker, commended the Chief of Staff and the Permanent Secretary for hosting the LMI Fellows in training.
We have the State House archives, and there we have some artifacts, documents, and record books, on the history of Nigeria, where we have come, and where we are today. And we are working to establish a very befitting archives for the State House. And our major reason is to put it at the disposal of the public.
But one thing we know only too well, sir. It is one thing to receive the training, it is another thing to get the opportunity. Thank you so much.
The Legislative Mentorship Initiative is set up to develop the next generation of legislators and ethical public sector leaders that are equipped with responsive leadership skills, knowledge and expertise to enhance public service delivery and foster national cohesion.
And that's all we can take in top series. To stay tuned for the rest of our programs. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.